Wake up, check the spreads, check the charts, then check my phone. 10 bands hit my broker, made a flip while home alone. You still saving up for shares? That's a broke boy strategy. I'm out here buying blocks, turning runners into salary. You hedge too much, that's why your gains look anorexic. I let my nuts swing, whole account looking reckless. You reading analyst notes, boy that's fucking sad. Why? I just follow one line, straight up to the bag. You holding for a breakout, I'm sniping every wick. You setting stop losses, I just let it hit. You still trading based on news, man, you lost as hell. I just follow price action, got this game on spell. Get that money, run it up, stack it high, flip it twice. Ain't no patience, I need profits, fuck a long-term price. A candle look like dollars, every trade a fucking win. If I lose, I double down, make it back and laugh again. Get that money, print that paper, turn my trades to golden rings. Texas Roadhouse with the profits, throw my way to 20 things. I don't chase no weak momentum, I just chase these fucking checks. Run it. You still trading scared, get your broke ass off my set. Get out. Made a rack this morning, now I'm posted up at Roadhouse. Ordered every steak, told the waiter bring the whole cow. Butter on my bread like how my pockets keep inflate round. You eating off the value menu, boy you ain't relating. Bro, let me tell you about a trade, put 50 on a straddle. Market gapped it open, sent my balance to Seattle. You playing penny stocks, man that's cute, that's real adorable. I just shorted Tesla, turned a fanboy to a corpse fool. You in Discord asking what's the next big move. Clueless. I'm already out, y'all still stuck on what to do. My chart look like fireworks, every bar is lit. Your trades look like my dinner, Texas Roadhouse shit. I'm printing, my fingers got ink. Your account in the red while I'm flooding the sink. You cry about a loss, I just double my bet. You hedge like a bitch, I go all in, no sweat. Get that money, run it up, stack it high, flip it twice. Ain't no patience, I need profits, fuck a long-term price. Every candle look like dollars, every trade a fucking win. If I lose, I double down, make it back and laugh again.
Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show. Welcome back to another fun-filled week in the world's largest casino. Folks, I know there's been a lot of excitement, volatility, whipsaw, rip into the upside, drop into the downside, and I want you to know that this week, not even on top of the fact that right now everything is blood red, but even before that, even before the whole DeepSeek announcements from over the weekend, that this week was setting up to be haywire, and it's already been delivering. Absolutely already delivering. So here's the plan. Here's what we're getting into. And I know I already see a lot of questions, comments, concerns. Here's the TLDR. TLDR, I deeply, deeply, deeply believe that Wall Street bros, the old classic finance bro, is misinterpreting the DeepSeek news. I think it is a classic case of finance bros not understanding what the labs, the nerds in the lab are cooking up. So I don't know if the dip buy is going to be right out of the gate. I don't know if it's going to be today. I don't know if it's going to be this week. But when we see those classic bottoming signs, really, when I see people getting like just destroyed on their puts and they start to throw them back in and take their money out, and we get the initial things we need to be cooking up a Vanna rally, that's the opportunity I'm looking to be buying. That is, I do not think that this is something to be chasing to the downside. Granted, I guess I shouldn't say that as a swing play. If you're a scalp trader and you're like, no, I'm just going for little moves up, little moves down, hey, have at it. That doesn't really change based on today. But in terms of creating a sizable bearish position today that I plan on holding for another week or two, no. not doing it here. I think if you're doing it here, you haven't looked into the news. You don't understand what the DeepSeek news is. And if anything, I'm just going to be waiting to see those initial signs of bottoming. And then I will be punting more bullish positions, not only in the overall market, but in the tech sector. And honestly, I'm very enticed to pick up some of my favorite names, such as NVIDIA, Microsoft. This might be finally the opportunity I could get some Palantir. I'll be watching Qualcomm here because that might have the kicker of eventually one day owning TikTok. So if anything, as I said in the update video yesterday, we are being presented with a plethora of opportunity. So I wanted really just out of the get-go, I want you guys to know how I'm viewing things, what's happening here. But I am not chasing a swing time frame position to the downside. If you see a little bit of hesitation and like just people being worried at market open, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to do a scalp trade. Hey, have at it. If you want to scalp trade to the upside, hey, have at it. Obviously, just stick to your risk reward. But with respect of that time frame of where do I really see things going this week, next week? Let's just say anywhere from like a 1 to 3 week time period. This right here, yeah, maybe it has a whole nother bearish day in it. That's completely fine. But I don't think this is somehow the start of some massive bear market or anything like that. I'll be giving you a more in-depth breakdown on my reasoning before the market opens on this whole DeepSeek thing. But I'm already seeing the comments and I get it. I mean, I get that there's absolutely a bloodbath going on right now. Let me switch this up. You have the SPY currently down 2%. You have the Qs down 3.4. You have NVIDIA puking 11. At one point, Bitcoin was around 98. You're seeing Microsoft down 4. Tesla even took a hit of 3%. Meta's down 2.6. Qualcomm is actually back in the green, so that's actually an interesting one. Coin down 3. Meta down 5.8. I get it. I get that there's reason for that panic and whatnot, and I'll be doing my best to explain what's going on. I am by no means some sort of AI, LLM expert, but I do think I understand enough of the situation to explain the major influences. So that's going to be the goal. But on top of it, I do need to set you up for the remainder of the week from a macroeconomic standpoint. We have a PCE report on Friday. We have an FOM decision on Wednesday. And between all of that, we're going to be getting a lot of major updates from President Trump. Because remember, the line in the sand, the red circle on everyone's calendar, well, other nations' calendars as it comes to the world of tariffs, that's all allegedly February 1st of when Trump is going to start implementing tariffs on Canada, on Mexico, potentially on the EU, potentially on China. And then also over the weekend, we had a little bit of a spat between the U.S. government and the Colombian government. So we're going to talk on that as well. So we're going to get into some of the political influences, some of the macroeconomic influences. I'll remind you that it is earnings season this week. We're going to be hearing from the likes of Meta. We're going to be hearing from Apple. We're going to be hearing, well, we actually already heard from SoFi. So we have earnings season. And then, of course, a little bit more of today's show is going to be specifically of why we're seeing this flush to the downside. Actually, in the update video yesterday, we got a little bit of an early warning shot because all day, talk about someone knowing something, all day on Friday, we just saw NVIDIA puts just be purchase, calls being sold. The delta just dropped all day. It was super aggressive. And then obviously the news, for one reason or another, really picked up steam over the weekend. And I see everyone and their grandmother crying about this being a black swan event. I want to make it clear, all these people who are continually calling for black swan events, they are very rarely right. Once in a while, you get a Michael Burry situation who's always calling for a black swan, and then eventually it happens, and we think that there's some sort of guru. But in reality, in terms of their accuracy of actually like really predicting black swans, their hit rate is just so low. It's one of these things that if you're always screaming for a bear market, if you scream it for long enough, eventually you're going to be right. But when you hear people calling for these black swans and their crashes and that, first of all, check their track record. They probably don't even have a public track record. And if they do, see how often they're right. And also just in taking a step back, if they're not telling you a time frame, if you're just saying bear market crash, and they're never saying, oh, like this month, this quarter, this year, if they're just generically saying it, it is useless to you as an active trader because timing is is incredibly important. So just want to throw that out there as well. But anyway, yes, I see that there is just an absolute bloodbath going on right now. I don't know when the dip buy is going to be presenting itself, or really if the dip buy is going to be presenting itself. But I do believe, based on just really common logic and basic probabilities, that this will, at some point in the future, we're going to look back at this and be like, oh, that was actually a pretty solid dip buy. Might be coming out of the gate, might be coming today, might be coming this week, might be coming this month. I don't know when, but I'll be looking for those signs. And the common sign, like the one thing I'm really looking for, is for basically the people who are holding puts to start selling those puts. I'm going to be looking for that negative delta to be leaving the option structure. And that's going to be the major sign that I'm personally looking for to start punting some long positions. So I don't want to just be like, oh, we're buying the dip and I'm looking for the opportunity. No, I'm here trying to give you the exact, like, measurable, the exact quantifiable thing I am looking for is for people to start dumping their puts. As soon as they dump their puts, we have everything we need. We have all the ingredients for a Vanna rally recipe, especially considering the week we have. And then really, honestly, even going into the February OPEX. So we're in an interesting time, a lot of announcements, and I think it's going to be as important as ever to be paying attention to the options flow. So I want to put that out there right now, and let's get rocking. Let's see what's going on in the world. The Dow tumbles 400 points. NASDAQ futures lose 4% as NVIDIA leads AI stocks down into the depths of hell. So before we get into all of that, that's the major headline before the casino opens, just in case you missed some of the political drama over the weekend. U.S. puts Colombia tariff sanctions threat on hold after deportation deal. So this is a crazy story that lasted about 1 hour. So just let me rewind. This all happened yesterday. Breaking: President Trump places emergency 25% tariff on all Colombian goods after the country refused to accept the return of undocumented migrants. President Trump said that these tariffs will be raised to 50% in 1 week. So this came out around 2 p.m. yesterday. And what had happened was there was a plane or two basically being full of illegal immigrants in the U.S., Colombian immigrants going from the U.S. back to Colombia, basically Trump following through on what he said. Hey, we're kicking out the illegal immigrants. As the aircrafts got closer to Colombia, they actually refused to let it land. And then this is how Trump responded. He basically really popped off. Breaking: President Trump is fully imposing emergency treasury, banking, and financial sanctions on Colombia. He says these measures are just the beginning. So once again, this all happened around 2 p.m. Eastern yesterday, and in less than an hour, Colombia completely said, no, please don't do that. Sorry. Seriously, sorry. Breaking: Colombian President Petro caves to Trump in under an hour, says presidential plane will be used to take deported citizens back to Colombia. What I think is interesting about this whole story is the way the media is already spun up to hate Trump. So as soon as this happened, he's like, hey, terrorists, everyone hopped online and they're like, guess what? Trump's increasing the prices of chocolate, of coffee, of flowers. Valentine's Day is coming up. They did that. They popped off right away. And the hilarious part is it literally only lasted for 1 hour. Literally not long enough to impact the prices of anything. Guess what? The government of Colombia, the president of Colombia, he was caught bluffing. It was an obvious bluff, and Trump had all the chips. He had all the chips. So everyone's popping off like, oh, you voted for him because he's going to lower prices. And look at it. He's already raising prices. Folks, I like how all those stories, they never chose to follow up. They never chose to follow up an hour later when the government of Colombia already said, nope, sorry about that. It was a complete joke here. Complete joke here. Trump to hold off on 25% Colombia tariffs, reach deals on migrants. Folks, it took less than an hour, and I'm not seeing any of those media sites really offering any updates there. I'm already seeing everyone still running around like a chicken with their head cut off. I'm just saying, no, look at the prices are going up. They're going up. And it truly didn't impact anything. Guess what? As it seems like it normally goes, Trump apparently just got his way. So obviously, That's the major political drama update, but it's not going to be slowing down anytime this week from a macroeconomic standpoint. New home sales today, I believe at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, durable goods and consumer confidence. Wednesday is going to be a long day for us because not only are we doing the normal morning show, but we're going to have the FOMC interest rate decision at 2 p.m. Jerome Powell will be speaking at 2:30. Then on Thursday, we're going to get the GDP numbers for the U.S., but we're going to get the ECB, the European Central Bank decision. Then on Friday, we're going to have the PCE report. So there's a lot going on there that once again will directly tie with Trump. Trump says he'll demand that interest rates drop immediately. So that's what's going to make this particular week, really Wednesday, so interesting because there's a 96, 97, 98% chance that they're not going to change the Fed fund rate. When it comes to Jerome Powell and all the other voting members of the FOMC, we could already see it from really what's going on in the bond/yield market. There's no change. We're not going to change. They're not jacking it up. They're not bringing it down. They're going to keep it constant. So if we already can state that with 96, 97, 98% confidence, you might be thinking, well, what's actually going to move the market? Because if you've been trading for any amount of time, you know that on these FOMC days, we get crazy movement in the commodities market, in the fixed income market, the equity market, the crypto market. Every market in that afternoon goes absolutely haywire. So you might be thinking, okay, like what is going to prompt it to really just completely recover from this morning sell-off or get even worse? And it's all going to come down to not only the reporters, but really the specific questions that they're going to ask the Fed president, Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed. It's going to be the questions that they ask him and how it reacts and how he chooses to answer it. And that's going to prompt the market to react because we know that the questions are going to be in the realm of, have you spoken with Trump? Are you guys on the same page? Are you completely at odds? What's going on? Because we know that Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, is continually saying, hey, as the data comes in, we're going to do our analysis of it and we're going to change the Fed fund rate accordingly. And that is more of like a methodical approach to the situation. It is a very predictable outcome. That's why really this whole cycle, so many people, including random people like myself who bought a camera and start yelling at it for a living on the interwebs, that's why we can so confidently predict what the Fed fund's going to do, what the Fed's going to do with the Fed fund rate, because how it's set up, it's absurdly easy to predict. It is a very, very consistent group of voting members right now. It is not hard to predict whatsoever. So because of that, it's made our life easy in terms of prediction, but right here, we might have a little bit of outside influence that we haven't seen before. Trump actively wants them to bring down the Fed fund rate, but none of the data incoming is telling them to do that. Because remember, even though inflation relative to that June 2022 high, that inflation mark, yeah, we've been coming down, but we're still too high relative to where we should be. We're not near 2%. We got to get back down to 2%. So it's going to be an interesting situation in the short term of like, do you take the proper medicine and it's long-term growth, or do you take the short-term gratification and potentially have implications on the long term? So that's what's going to be going down this week in terms of the politics directly overlapping with the economy, but I'm sure other things are going to pop up as well. Please don't forget, we are in earnings season. Based on weight, 20% of the S&P 500 is reporting this week. So SoFi reported this morning, Boeing's reporting tomorrow, so is Lockheed Martin, Starbucks, SAP, Logitech. On Wednesday, ASML, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, IBM, Lam Research. On Thursday, UPS, MasterCard, you have Apple, Intel, Visa, and then on Friday, some of the energy plays, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Phillips 66. So feel free to take a screenshot of this. Go to @eWhispers. It's also in the Locals newsletter that I give you guys every single weekend. So big individual equity report week on top of the fact that we just got all this DeepSeek news. So it's going to be a crazy one. We knew this week was going to be the craziest week we've had in many, many months. But I think even for me, we're already starting off way higher in terms of the scales of insanity than I truly thought we would. And the reason, I guess, the fun notch was not only turned up to 10, but it was like completely snapped off the machine, is because of an interesting update we got really over the weekend, but more specifically on Friday, from a little AI company called DeepSeek. Trump's bull market in tech, January 20th to the 24th, 2025. Obviously, everyone's already making memes of this. So to get us going here, for me to better explain this, I want you guys to know I am not some sort of AI expert. I'm an AI enthusiast. I pay attention to it. I use it. But if anything, I just have friends who are a little bit more tied to the industry. So it's just more of I have the network to rely on to ask them what in the world is going on. As I learn from them, I kind of update I use my financial knowledge to then kind of really overlap their specific expertise in tech and where I see it really impacting the stock market. So let me take a step back to kind of explain really how this is all going. NVIDIA stock may fall as DeepSeek's quote unquote amazing AI model disrupts OpenAI. DeepSeek's buzz puts tech stocks on track for a $1.2 trillion drop. If you guys didn't see it, overnight here, let me zoom out. As soon as the futures market opened up at 6 p.m. last night, it was brutal. Actually, it was so brutal, I need to now go back to the 1,000 tick because you can see right here's where we opened. Once again, 6 p.m. last night is when the futures market opened. Not only was it a gap down, it was a gap down that led to a 1,000-point plus sell-off. When I left you guys on Friday, it was at 21,900. At one point, we got to 20,700. It was around 1,200 points. Absolutely horrific vomit. Now, obviously, ever since about 6 in the morning, there is a bit of a bounce back here. I do think that this bounce is going to continue. Maybe not today, but I do, in the high level things, think that this is a buy the dip opportunity. So just to understand how bad it got, like once again, if you're like me, degenerately checking the futures market, you saw this and you're like, oh, that's not good. And then you woke up this morning just feverishly checking the internet and you're like, wow, that got really, really bad. And it wasn't just for the overall NASDAQ, or individual equities such as NVIDIA, Microsoft, ASML, TSM. It was the entire NASDAQ. I mean, it was down over 1,000 points. I think the max was 1,200. Broadcom down 11.9, NVIDIA down 11.5, Taiwan Semiconductor 11.2, SMCI 11, ARM 10, Micron, the whole, really that ETF SMH that tracks the semiconductor industry, that just got completely clobbered. NVIDIA is on track to erase $400 billion of market cap in one day. $400 billion of value just gone into the ether like that. And it's all because of DeepSeek. NVIDIA falls 14% in pre-market trading as China's DeepSeek triggers global tech sell-off. How China's new AI model DeepSeek is threatening U.S. dominance. So obviously, we should talk about what in the world is DeepSeek. So if you've been using ChatGPT, like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic, like Claude. If you've been using any of these AI models, these LLMs, these large language models, they're pretty cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff with them. Behind the scenes, under the hood, if you will, it's actually, from a technology standpoint, even more fascinating, at least in my humble opinion. When you look at how they pull off what they pull off and then start to look at the business aspect of it, it is thought to be very, very expensive. There is a lot of training, and I'm trying to keep this high level because there's not much of a point to get like into the nitty gritty of this, but you need a lot of these very fancy high-end data center processing chips, and NVIDIA is the main designer of it. To understand how this ecosystem works, basically, you have companies such as ASML that creates the machinery. The machinery is created by ASML and then sold to a fabricating company such as TSM. TSM then uses the designs of a company such as NVIDIA or AMD to actually fabricate these processing chips. These processing chips are then purchased by the likes of Microsoft with OpenAI or Anthropic to then actually use for not only our users in the demand such as you and myself asking it questions of like, when is McDonald's open? But also of training and retraining and all of that stuff. So that's roughly the pipeline. You could go higher up the pipeline and you could say things like, oh, mining companies where you need certain soft and hard metals. Or you could go even down further the pipeline of now companies that are using AI to generate like fake TikTok girls or fake OnlyFans girls. So I'm just trying to give you a better idea of like this the entire upstream and downstream. Now you could go even farther up, you could go farther down, but that's like generically the middle chunk and how this all fits in. So one of the very, very expensive parts is when you get into the world of OpenAI or Claude or now DeepSeek, it is absurdly expensive to do all this training. I mean, those chips themselves, like they'll use like thousands and thousands of them, and they each cost tens of thousands of dollars. And up until this weekend, it was kind of thought that, man, like it's almost like these large tech companies had a particular moat around them. From a financial standpoint, they were the only ones really with the capital to pull off the initial capital requirements to spin this all up, to do the testing. And just, I wrote down some numbers just to show you how like vastly huge this was, like huge. So previously, to do the training of an LLM to pull this off, it was about $100 million. DeepSeek pulled it off with $5 million. With respect to the GPUs that were needed, previously it was 100,000. DeepSeek only needed 2,000. In terms of the API bill, like all the hits that they were doing, once again, we're getting into the world of nerdy tech stuff, but just understand it was 95% less. So DeepSeek, far, far more efficient. And in terms of the quality of the GPUs needed, this is alleged, and I just want to be clear because remember, this is all being really reported by a Chinese company, that instead of needing those fancy schmancy data center hardware chips, they were basically using higher end like gaming GPUs. Now, there's certain aspects of this story that you have to question the validity, but really not the science, not the output, because this is all open source. So was there really truly some Chinese hedge fund guy that was basically like a giga chad and he got 200 people together and completely upset the world of AI and he did it on like high quality gaming chips? Okay, maybe some of the narrative is being a little bit swayed by China one way or the other. Could be an aspect of a psyop, but from a technical standpoint, this is all open source. So how did they get there? Maybe you question it, maybe you don't. That doesn't really matter. But the end destination, the conclusion of from a technical standpoint of what they were able to do, it is very real. It is very, very, very real. So narrative, maybe a little questionable. But once again, the output from a technological standpoint, from a computer science standpoint, from a math standpoint, it is all open source. It is verified. You could check it. I could check it. Anyone and their grandmother can check it. So that's why people got so scared here, is because like, okay, if someone pulled this off and it's so much cheaper, then it became the question of how much hardware demand is there really going to be? All of a sudden, we were pitched this narrative of you need billions and billions and billions of dollars of investment just to be able to pull this off. And that's where a lot of the revenue was coming for ASML, for TSM, for NVIDIA, for AMD, for Micron, for all that. And then all of a sudden over the weekend, someone's like, well, no, you could pull it off and pretty much come in at the same metrics, outperforming certain areas, underperforming in other areas, but roughly it all nets out to be the same. And they did it for so much cheaper. All of a sudden, everyone's like, well, hang on, how's that going to impact the bottom line revenue for the name of NVIDIA, TSM, ASML, AMD, all of those, that whole thing. That's why you're seeing such an overreaction. But as I kind of started off today's show, I think this is a classic example of the Wall Street bros not really understanding what the nerds in the lab are cooking up. And all of a sudden, myself included, we're all now becoming, Jevin, I don't know. There's some fancy paradox out there that throughout history, there's these kind of impressive moments where, for example, we really increase the efficiency of steam engines. Do you know what happened to coal? Just because the steam engines went up in terms of quality, efficiency, coal usage didn't go down. It went up. Same thing with vehicles. When we make more efficient engines and you think, okay, if engine efficiency is going up, at first your knee-jerk reaction might be, oh, we're going to consume less gasoline. That is not true. As there's all these interests, it's the Jevons paradox, I believe, which once again, I don't think anyone spoke about it before today. And now allegedly, myself included, we're just experts on it. But it goes this way. It's this concept that as efficiency goes up, overall consumption also goes up. So we see it with electricity, we see it with gasoline, we see it with things such as coal, and we're probably going to see it here in the world of AI. So right now in the short term, the market is overreacting to this idea that, oh wow, someone came up with this idea that efficiency has just gone through the roof. So they think that the overall consumption is going to go down. But if history teaches us anything, because of this paradox, and right now, like it's actually kind of comical of how everyone is already experts on it on Twitter. It's this idea that as efficiency improves, as efficiency go up, so does overall consumption. And I am here to tell you that I think this is exactly going to play out in the world of what we see with DeepSeek. So there's this idea that for some reason now just no one's going to want to consume it. But if anything, no, this it kind of hurts the moat of these large tech players. But if anything, I think it's going to make it so it's a more competitive landscape for people to build out their own large language model. But from there, it's still going to have the same scaling stuff. As the demand increases and you have retracing and all the other technical things that are related, you're still going to need more and more and more of these processing chips. So if anything, I think this brings us one step closer to really where this whole AI revolution is going to go. I think it's going to speed it up. And once again, even though efficiency is going to go up, I don't think that's going to correlate to the demand or the consumption going down. I think if anything, we're going to stay on this linear path or potentially even go exponential with it. So in the short term, you have Wall Street bros reacting, thinking that increased efficiency means that demand's going to drop off. No. Jevons paradox is telling us the exact opposite. As this efficiency goes up, and we've seen it with coal, we've seen it with electricity, we've seen it with gasoline, we've seen it with all forms of fuel that I'm picking on those because it's such a similar situation to this. I think it just goes up. So that's why maybe, I don't know today, I don't know where the dip is, but if we're looking at this as like a sell-off opportunity that either leads to a greater sell-off or to a dip buy, I think we are in the camp of this is a dip buy. Now, I'm not saying buy it out of the gate. I'm not saying it even necessarily comes today, but I'm saying look for the other financial signs. And really, we're talking about a Vanna squeeze, and really to back that up, we're just looking for people to dump their puts. As soon as I see a large amount of negative delta leaving the options chain, especially in the world of the Mag 7, that is where I am looking to punt long. So just wanted to explain all that, and we could talk about it throughout the show today. I just wanted to set everyone up. Don't forget, Trump is discussing a TikTok purchase with multiple people, decision in 30 days. I'm very interested in Oracle for that because it does seem like Larry Ellison is leading the charge. Don't forget to sign up for Locals, macros.locals.com, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. You can get this newsletter for 100% free every single weekend. And if you want to, join up with the Goonie Trading Discord. That's how in Locals you go from a membership to a supportership. Just make sure to use that promo code Goonie so your first month is free. And is it worth it? Well, by pure luck, I ended up making just under $6,000 on Friday from a very, very wild trade that I ended up pulling off as I was driving for most of the day. And it was way more luck than skill, but hey, I am going to take it. And as you can hear from all those dingity ding ding dings, we are already having a wild open. Dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Folks, we're already cooking here. We're already cooking here today. Golly. So like I said, I'm kind of waiting for my opportunity. I'm probably not going to be doing much in the first minute or two just because I'm expecting a lot of whipsaw, a lot of movement. Let me update this to 5 seconds. Let me update this to 5. Do I need to re-log in? Like I said, the major thing I care about right now is what in the world is going on with options flow. No one look at my passport. That would be very, very rude. I'm getting a ton of alerts popping off. All right, 5 seconds. All right, dude, the alerts are getting louder. They're getting more angry. All right. So I'm already seeing options flow go down a little bit here. Options flow go down a little bit. I'm on the 5 second. I'm really drilled into this. So I'm going to be doing my best to kind of just wait. And hey, if it explodes out of the gate, I might end up missing the dip buy. That's totally possible. But I don't want to take on that additional risk of like, what if this is a fake out and then drops $3 more and that's the real dip buy. So if I miss it, I miss it. Yes, you could argue like just scale in, but I tend to really try to stop myself from trading right out of the gate anyway. So as we're waiting for the opening session, at least those first 5, 10, 20 minutes really play out. Shout out to Public. If you're not on Public, my question to you is, what in the world are you doing? Public is by far, at least in my humble opinion, the best place to trade. Public, when you are trading options, there's no other brokers that does this. They pay you a rebate. You get money every time you trade an option. Doesn't matter if it's a call or a put. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. You get a rebate for every options trade you engage in. Name another brokerage that does it. I literally cannot come up with one. So whether you're an options trader or an aspiring options trader, this is the place to be. There are no commission fees. There's no per contract fees. If you're a stock trader, they don't engage in payment for order flow. Yes, they have crypto. If you like bonds, they have some some of the best UI and UX in the entire game. I'm telling you, this is the place to be. Don't be on some of these other brokerages that every so often they get nailed with a massive SEC fine. And surprise, surprise, it's because they're treating their clients like crap once again. Public for years now has been the exact epitome of a brokerage that has been having its clients back. So folks, if you're going to give someone your business, you might as well give your business, your trading business, to brokerages that time and time and time again prove that they actually support you, rather than their market makers on the other side of the aisle that they're always trying to get more money from. Check it out, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Public launched their options trading almost a year ago. Every single month, they're getting better and better and better. I just spoke with the team. In the upcoming month, they have more very, very exciting groundbreaking announcements already coming out. I can't let the cat out of the bag right now, but what they have planned for all of you guys, for myself included, very, very, very exciting stuff. So check it out. Like I said, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Get on Public, free to download, free to sign up, no commission fees, no per contract fees, and you earn a rebate every single time you trade an option. I know of no other brokerage that has that type of a deal. Obviously, shout out to Public for being today's stream partner, and shout out to really for them being partnered up with us for such an incredibly long time. Great, great company, great people. Highly, highly recommend you check it out. Like I said, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. See what is going on. All right, it is right there. Okay, yes, it is pinned to the top of chat. I just wanted to do my own little sanity check right there. All right, the 5-minute and the 10-minute are now back to being bullish on the S&P 500. The 30-minute and the 4-hour are in that bearish territory. If you look at the NASDAQ, the 5-minute and the 10-minute are back to being bullish. The 30-minute and the 4-hour are in that bearish territory from a pretty brutal overnight sell-off. Obviously, we have a very large upside gap fill to 606.80. That is the low from Friday, but we do have a close by downside gap fill to 594.35. Almost hit that this morning. There's another downside gap fill on SPY to 585. If you look at the NASDAQ, obviously massive upside gap fill to 528.15. Downside gap fill kind of close by at 510.16. And then there's another one all the way down here, which you guys probably can't see, but it is 492.88. So that is for SPY and QQQ respectively. Bitcoin on this whole news, if you were watching it in the super short time frame, it felt like a massive hit. But as soon as you switch to the daily chart, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, the last time we saw the levels in this quote-unquote crypto crash was on Thursday, January the 16th, as in 2 weeks ago. So it's really not that bad when you look at the daily chart. If you look at NVIDIA, pretty much huge gap down to this recent shelf where we saw resistance, support. So hanging out at 128, if it can hold that, I'm actually a very big fan. NVIDIA has that upside gap fill to 141.88. If you're looking at Qualcomm, even that, yeah, it's getting a bit hit, but not some monstrous gap down. Microsoft, a bit more sizable in the gap down. There's an upside gap fill to 441.40. That alert, I don't know what's going on with my alerts right now. I'll have to fix those later. So a gap down right into this consolidation zone. So we still have the higher lows. Granted, we now put in lower highs, but that's just what I'll be watching. Like I said, I think this is a vast overreaction. Tesla putting in a lower high, kind of, I don't know, bending back down. I'd be looking for support around 380. Meta taking a hit on this news. I think it's, once again, another overreaction. That's going to be the theme of today, is I think a lot of the tech sector is overreacting. And I want to make this explicitly clear. I don't know if the dip buy comes today. It might have already happened. The opening gate right here might have been the dip buy opportunity. But I do, in the world of probabilities, and remember, that's what the stock market is. You have this giant probability distribution, and you're looking for the pathways that are more likely. Now, obviously, the unlikely things can play out, but we're just trying to play the higher odds scenarios with lower risk. That's what we're looking for. That's what active trading is. So that's exactly what I'm personally looking for. So in the world of probabilities, I do believe that the market is vastly overreacting. And I might be right, I might be wrong, and even low probability things do happen. So even though I believe this is truly the higher probability situation of buy the dip, sometimes low probability things do play out. So I want to remind you of that. I think a lot of people think of trading erroneously in like a two-dimensional space, almost as if like, no, okay, here's price and we're just predicting bullish or bearish and maybe certain price targets, where that's not really trading at all. Trading, given any situation, you have a certain distribution of probabilities, and yeah, the high odd ones most likely do play out, the low odd ones can still play out, but it's more of you're looking for what the current distribution is and looking for the setups per said distribution. So you're kind of, I don't know, like this is getting into some higher end, I suppose, stat stuff, and we're talking about Brownian motion and whatnot. But remember, the game of trading is the game of probabilities, not the game of certainties. So when people do make calls, when they don't make calls, that doesn't necessarily mean that they were actually right or wrong. And maybe they did something absurd and a low probability thing did play out. And then we all look at them of like, no, they nailed it. They must know something we don't know. No, sometimes the random absurd thing does happen. So I just want to be very, very clear about, I guess, a better explanation of why I'm comfortable buying this dip. It is not a guarantee. I just think that the probability does favor it. But of course, you always have to consider your sizing, because sometimes the low probability things end up playing out. And speaking of that, should I have already traded? Apparently not. No, I did not get my buy signal yet. I did not get my buy signal quite yet. Gotta be careful today, though. Gotta be careful today, though. All right, Mag 7. It's actually kind of dipping. I'm not the biggest fan of how that looks. Hang on, maybe it'll look a little bit different if I go to the 30-second. Maybe it'll look, yeah. So I see prices going up, but I'm not really seeing that follow through that makes me more comfortable to go long. So I see price from market open till now. I totally agree. It looks like people are already buying the dip, and they might be doing that in the world of equities, but they don't appear to be doing that in the world of options, which is making me a little bit hesitant that this could be an early day fake out. Hang on, let me just make sure you guys can't see my password on that one. Log in. Okay, I don't think you could have seen my password anyway. Let's use another tool. Let's, latest, gamma. Okay, so we do have, that's on SPY though. Let's go to SPX. Oh, wow, we're already getting a pretty interesting movement here. Okay, so we have support kind of close by at 5995. The next resistance is up here at 6025, which I assume, oh, got to log in here. I'm getting logged in, getting logged out of everything right now, folks. Let's see, trace. I just want to see where these key levels are. Okay, a lot of support at 5960. Almost looks like a kind of a large put credit spread. Once again, that's at 5960. 5960. The 5-minute and the 10-minute are bullish, 30 minutes still bearish. 5-minute and 10-minute are bullish, 30 minutes still bearish. What I'm really, really, truly looking for is just for, see how this is getting negative here? It's still just going to the downside. I'm not liking that. That's why I'm not really going to throw on my dip buys until I see that negative delta leave the system. I need those people who are long puts to start closing those puts out, because as that happens, not only are you removing negative delta from the system, which is mathematically the same as adding positive delta, what it does is it crushes vol. And as you crush vol, that shores up your Vanna, which means that market makers don't have to hedge as much. And in this situation, they were hedging for the protective downside move, so they were most likely short the underlying, whether it was 0 DTs or via the options market. Regardless, as that Vanna tightens up, they're not going to have to hedge as much, as in they could drop some of those short hedges, which once again is the same mathematical thing as just straight up buying. Now, I'm not seeing the signs of that happening right now, but that is 100% what I will be looking for. So I'm not chasing this intraday pop to the upside. I'm not chasing the overall push to the downside. I'm not doing anything because I'm not really seeing that exact situation that I'm personally happy with. So I'm just not seeing the underlying, really the derivatives market trending in the way I want. So I hope that makes sense. As I'm watching this, I'll try to comment on it of like, okay, is it happening? Is it not happening? But as we're waiting for something here to either develop or not develop, is there any questions, comments, concerns as I'm waiting for this to play out? Does anyone need a little bit of clarity on this? 507 for QQQ puts. I think you're chasing it. I think chasing this to the downside on a swing play is silly. Once again, I think timing really does matter. So like if there's a little breakdown and you're scalping it, okay, yeah, have at it. I completely understand if we break 512.87, we're breaking that low and you could play to the intraday, or maybe you get like, I get that. But to be buying puts right now out of the gate and be like, no, I'm going to be in this for a week or two, I do not think that is the statistically favorable play. Of course, it could play out, but with these types of setups, doing that type of reaction time and time again, it is not good. In fact, if you simply look at the stats of Monday morning gap downs, it is more likely that you get an upside gap fill than you continue to the downside. So even that, like just that little Bayesian probability of saying, no, gap downs are to be bought, especially on Mondays. I think, like I said, if you're scalping, have at it. But in terms of a swing play here, I would not be doing that whatsoever. Matt, I just need some relationship advice or your expert level football take from the weekend. I think that I'm stoked for the Eagles. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big Eagles fan. I'm not the biggest Eagles fan. I'm not like a Bradley Cooper figure, not only in my fandom, but also my aesthetics. I have a lot of work to do, but I do support the Eagles. So I'm very, very happy that not only did they beat the Commanders, that they absolutely dominated the Commanders. So I'm very, very happy about that. With respect to the Bills and Chiefs, I was very much pulling for the Bills. I don't just generically support the Bills, but I'm a big fan of Josh Allen. I just like him. What can I say? I like the guy. So I was bummed that the Bills didn't win. I think Josh Allen handled it like a champ in the post-game interviews. But with respect to the officiating, as an NFL viewer, can we even expect anything else? The base assumption is going to be that the refs are going to make absurd calls every single game supporting the Chiefs. So obviously there was that one play where they just did not give the Bills a first down last night. And every single video review of it shows that it wasn't just a first down. It was very evidently a first down. So with that, it blows my mind, but that's just what the NFL has become. They're so obsessed, like the NFL as a whole, like as a business, is obsessed with like this Chiefs dynasty, the Chiefs narrative. So they're going to do everything in their power to keep it going. So to be the champ, you got to take the champ out. You can't just be the same quality as the champ. You have to clearly be better. And the delta between the two has to be like basically not questionable. So the Bills are a phenomenal team. They've been a phenomenal team for years. But whether they're better or not than the Chiefs, it's too close to call. And if it's too close to call, the reigning champs are going to stay the champs. That's just how it goes. So I'm hopeful that the Eagles, I'm really actually specifically hopeful that Saquon Barkley can do Saquon Barkley things in this game and just completely cut the Chiefs up. But we're going to see. I think we're excited for a good game. I think Hurts is a fine quarterback. I think Mahomes is a better quarterback than Hurts. At least the stats on the season would really suggest that. But I just hope it's not a game that's decided by the refs. I hope it's a game that's decided by the players, because I think we all leave with a little bit of a feeling of like getting cheated when like it's the refs deciding it. So that's my take. All the stats education you have done in the Discord is good. As an example, the Monday gap of better odds. Did anyone make a cheat sheet for this in Discord? I don't know, but I mean, you can make it for yourself, damn. I mean, it's all in those videos. You write it down. I have a little piece of paper where I do it, and I just like I have a little trading journal that I refer to. Eagles versus the Chiefs and the refs, yeah. I don't think anyone wants the Chiefs to win. Like, I think the world beyond the Chiefs' direct fan base, I think everyone, and I even know that people don't like Eagles. I know people do not like Eagles fans. It is a very, very, very hard fan base to support if you are not a member of the fan base. So, like, for example, everyone loves the Bills Mafia, because the Bills Mafia, that's just a group of people that know, like, they know how to have a good time. They're like great people. The culture and the vibe of Bills Mafia is something that I think just like on a national level, people do support. I fully understand that the Eagles are not like that. Like, I get it that if you are not an Eagles fan, like, yeah, you have problems. But what's crazy about it is even though the Eagles generically by non-team supporters are not liked, It shows you how much people hate the Chiefs. The fact that the world is like coming together. The world is coming together to be like, yeah, I would actually prefer that the Eagles completely dominate Mahomes. So I do find that funny. All right, what do we have going on here? I see the Qs are popping. I'm getting a little bit of messy data. What do we have? The S&P 500 sold, pop, flat, not really moving much. While we do see the Mag 7s kind of attempting to turn back around ever since this lull at 943. Once again on the Mag 7. I want to see what's going on with this player. He's probably going to keep this put credit spread thing going on. It's about how many? It's about 7,000 contracts. SPX is sucked right up to that 6,000 level, that key technical level, key psychological level. A lot of people are going to be risk on above that. They'll be risk off below it. So 6,000 key technical level, key psychological level, key money management level, key options level. 6,000 on SPX is where we're at right now. Obviously starting off the day about 30 points below that, but we're going to see how this goes. Mag 7, how's this going? Nice pop up in the Mag 7. Looks like we have a little bit of profit taking going on right there. And what's kind of freaking me out a little bit is even though the SPY's up 30 points, which is really an interesting sign showing how, yeah, it's a bit of an overreaction. The index, let's go to GexBot. Let's see what we have going on here. Okay, so this will now serve as support. We have a nice region of support and massive support at 5,960. So that massive support at 5,960, just to show you it two different ways right here. This massive support is literally the same thing that we're seeing on spot gamma right here at 5,960. So this put credit spread, or maybe it's just a bunch of sold puts, I have no idea, but all I know is that's quite a bit of gamma support from the options market. Once again, 5,960. You could see it directly there on spot gamma. You could see it directly right here on GexBot. On GexBot, we're also seeing a little buildup of support just below us, 5,995, 5,990, 5,985, 5,980. So that's a region of support. If this keeps popping, the next immediate level I'd be watching on SPX is 6,025. I personally haven't done anything yet, though, just because I'm not the most enthused about the lack. Do I need to update this? We're popping a little bit there. I just want to see more enthusiasm. I want to see more bullishness in the options market before I start slapping the ask. So we're going to see. That would have been a nice little pop to catch. I'll be watching this trend line on the Qs to see if it can hold. Maybe something like that. We have a little bit of a trend line building on the SPY here. The SPY's coming up to it, so are the Qs. So maybe that holds, but I did see some people in chat already saying that they're buying puts. I think buying puts on gap downs, like right out of the gate, first of all, you're paying too much because vol is going to be expanded. So you're literally overpaying for premium when you're doing that right out of the gate, but you're also fighting the odds. So not only are you overpaying, but you're overpaying for a situation that historically doesn't favor you. So I obviously don't mean to like chastise anyone who bought puts out of the gate, but you did fall for a very classic trap. So on any individual trade, you might make or lose money, but if that is your system, that is not a net winning system. On gap down days, buying puts out of the gate is not something that will make you net profitable in the long term. It's just a very, very weak play, not only from the options perspective that you're overpaying on vol, but it's also a very weak play from the standpoint of just basic recovery stats, the Bayesian probabilities that we were referring to before. It is more likely on gap downs to get that upside gap fill than to get the continuation. It is not always going to be something that plays out. But once again, if we're thinking about this as a series of trades of how do you commonly engage in the market, that's what you got to be considering. All right. I know we have some home stuff, maybe new home sales at 10 a.m. Maybe that's what we're doing. I haven't done anything yet. I still unfortunately have all my calls from last week, which I'm actually afraid to check in on them, but it looks like vol's already dying. I see Nvidia picking up a little bit. Oh, I guess I should. Yep, that is painful. I just looked at my account and I have to be honest, not the biggest fan, Batman. Not the biggest fan. Hmm. Not the biggest fan, Batman. Oh, how much time do I need? I'm thinking about some plays. 1, 2, 3. That's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal. I'm getting tempted. I'm going to be honest with you, team. I'm tempted. I'm tempted. I don't know, though. Is this a smart move or a stupid move? Is this a smart Matt move or a stupid Matt move? That's always the golden question here. Let's look at the flow specifically for NVIDIA. NVIDIA. All right, here's what's going on in NVIDIA today. You have quite a bit of call selling, but some puts being closed out as well. So right now on NVIDIA, the calls are really flat. Calls were being sold till about 9:43. Then it stopped. So I know that price is picking up right now, obviously, but it does not appear that the options market is following suit. Once again, this is specific to NVIDIA. So I'm kind of looking for other dip buyers to step in. With respect to the Mag 7, let's do this. I see the SPY picking up a little bit. The Mag 7 did pick up, kind of giving a bit back. Once again, we do have support. The support at 5995 left, but we are getting growing support at 5985. Huge support at 5960. And then we have upside resistance at 6050. So if this is a breakaway runner right now, that would be a major target of mine, would be 6050. Okay, what are we doing? At this point? For those of you who are just tuning in, we kind of did a breakdown of why everything had such a major gap down. I do believe this is a buy the dip opportunity. Shit. What time is it? Do I just want to rip this breakout? I do believe it's a buy the dip opportunity with respect to swing plays. I would be not creating a bearish swing play here. If anything, I'd be monetizing if I had one. I didn't have one coming into this. But if I was fortunate enough to have a bearish swing play coming into this, I probably would have monetized within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the day. But for new swing plays, I'm still looking for favorable risk to reward setups to be bullish. That is 100% what I am looking for. And with my scalp plays, well, we got to just watch. I'm watching this trend line right here, trying to watch the options flow. Options flow is tilting back down. We still don't really have that much action going on NVIDIA specifically. Actually, NVIDIA is starting to dive the other way. NVIDIA is going down. NVIDIA is going downtown, Jim Brown. That's not so good. That has to be, yep, the Mag 7 starting to lose it right here. Be careful. S&P 500 is actually looking decent, though. S&P 500 picked up at 937, popped up, gave a little bit back right now. So the bets on the overall market are recovering, but I'm a little bit concerned about this right here, which once again was specific to NVIDIA. If those of you are curious, I don't think people are buying puts. I think they're dumping their calls. Yeah, no one's touching puts on NVIDIA, which probably means you shouldn't be touching puts on NVIDIA. What people are doing is getting out of their bullish positions. So basically, we're just kind of waiting for those weak hands to get shaken out. But I want to be very clear here. At this level on NVIDIA, people are not aggressively chasing NVIDIA to the downside. They're now just monetizing their previously held bullish bets. So if you're looking at this saying, oh, I want to run with NVIDIA, I think it cracks, I think this falls, just so you know, the options market does not agree with you. If anything, people are closing out their puts. They monetize their puts, they're collecting either their losses, they're basically locking in their call trades, but they're not chasing this down. Now, granted, they're not buying calls, they're not chasing it to the upside either, but I think it's a very, very weak play to be attempting to chase NVIDIA to the downside because smart money is not doing it. Big money is not doing it. So you want to trade with the large flows. You want to trade with big money. And I'm literally showing you on the screen right now in real time that people are not chasing NVIDIA to the downside, which probably means you should not be chasing it to the downside either. I do like this look on the S&P 500, though. It is showing a bit of strength. Nvidia is looking weak, which is making me a bit hesitant about this push in the Qs. I know that we have higher highs and higher lows, but I'm just worried that if there's like one little weak hand that bails on it, it actually might cause the SPY. Oops, sorry, wrong screen. It might cause the SPY and the Qs to break their trend line that we've been holding. It might. Which way are we going to go? How far out? Okay, we're about 2 minutes out from an announcement. Heading into the announcement, we're seeing a little bit of bullishness come back. A little bit of bullishness. You know what? On NVIDIA, I'm either kind of looking for that breakout or this breakdown. Let's set some alerts just to know what in the world is or isn't going on there. So I have alerts set on NVIDIA. People already appear to be buying the dip on Palantir. Qualcomm, QCOM, not really doing much. Microsoft making a decent recovery. Tesla making a decent recovery. Meta making a decent recovery. Coin, decent recovery starting at 942. Palantir. So I know there's a lot of red relative to where we close on Friday, but relative to market open, we are seeing a bit more. It's not really bullish aggression. It's lack of bearish aggression. We're seeing those initial steps of a Vanna rally. Like I just need more puts to be closed out, and then I would be pretty freaking confident. But see, people are buying calls. I need those puts to be closed. When I see those blue lines go up, that's really what I'm looking for. That's really what I'm looking for. I want us to get rocking. See here how puts started to pick up. If more and more puts get dude, but they're hitting the Mag 7 still. So basically, this orange line, those are the longer duration calls related to the Mag 7. So longer duration calls have been getting dumped all morning. So that's removing positive delta from the system. That is bearish. You don't want to necessarily see that. What's interesting is people are not chasing this to the downside. These puts are pretty constant right now. So what I'm waiting for, and this is like a test of patience, is as soon as this lack of bullishness stops, because like this bullishness is disappearing. As soon as bullishness comes back into the options, I'm looking for that like structural change, that flow change really is probably a better way. That's, I believe, going to be my opportunity to go long. I'm not just going to arbitrarily chase price to the upside because that's just a silly way to trade in the market, in my humble opinion. A silly way to trade. I want the price and the options to be basically telling me the exact same thing. What's going on with this NVIDIA flow? It's not good. I mean, people are just hammering. I'm actually really surprised the Qs are holding up this well when people are just starting to buy puts now and they're still selling calls. So as I said, but see, the S&P 500 is telling a different story. The S&P 500 people are buying calls and they're getting out of their puts. So there is still a clear mismatch between what we're seeing in the options flow of the S&P 500 and then some of the major players in the S&P 500, the Mag 7, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA. People are starting at 955. They're continuing to sell calls and buy puts. That is removing positive delta and adding negative delta. So it's like doubly bearish. Once again, that's for the Mag 7. But the story we're currently seeing in the options flow of the S&P 500, people are buying calls and now they're getting out of puts, really starting at 954. So one of these is right and one of them is wrong. And when I don't have a strong inkling of who's right and who's wrong, I'm just going to wait. You don't got to rush it. You really don't have to. There's going to be enough craziness and insanity today that there's most likely going to be opportunity later on. And even if there isn't opportunity later on, it's all right. You don't have to trade every day. It's A-okay. It's A-okay. Someone's asking about SoFi. Their earnings were this morning. SoFi currently down 9%. So clearly not that good, but also there's a lot of, I guess, just overall generic fear in the market right now. All right, it looks like this trend line is being tested on the SPY. It was broken on the Qs. I would be watching some of these major support levels that we saw as we were building up, 513.70, 512.87. And then on the SPY, you could just be watching 597. You could be watching 597.25. So I'd be watching just to see if maybe we find support there. Of course, if it bounces earlier, that's even more bullish. But as you guys have been kind of understanding from today's show thus far, the major thing I'm paying attention to is this options flow. See right here how price dipped. People started to monetize calls and they started to buy puts back. Once again, just putting more negative delta into the system. So I'm closely watching this, or as close as I possibly can. Oh man, the Mag 7 is getting hit. It is getting hit here, team. Look at this. Just so much negative flow. Just nonstop. And now people are finally getting some of those longer dated puts, this dark blue starting to dip. I would be careful of watching these like generic breakdowns, like maybe the Qs can't hold 515. According to GexBot, there was a bit of resistance up here at 615, and the next support would be down at 5990. So if the SPX does get hit, don't be surprised about a little quick 10-point retracement to basically the support at 937. That's the next 0 DTE option support that we're kind of mapping out. Once again, we have a zone of support right here, which maybe we sell off to this base there and then bounce out of it for the rest of the day. If that does happen, that would actually be a pretty easy trade setup. Finding support once again around 5990, 5985, huge support at 5960. If that snaps, we have a big problem today. The probability of that happening is low, but it is something obviously you do have to consider. Let me move this all the way over. We don't really need that right now. I have way too many tabs open. SPY potentially getting cracked. 5 minute, 10 minute or so bullish, 30 minute, 4 hour still bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute bullish, 30 minute, 4 hours still bearish. And then in the short term, like I said, we are seeing a potential smack. I might take my scalp trade for my futures accounts on this one. Oh, do I want to? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so.
Order filled.
All right, we're ripping it. We're ripping it. Here we go. We are off to the races. Off to the races. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. I just went short one contract on all 20 of my accounts. I'm short at 21,291. The reason I went short there is because not only did I see this trend line breakdown on the SPY and the Qs, but guess what? The options flow is still negative. Now, I am still mentally prepped for a buy the dip situation, but according to GexBot, we ran into a bit of resistance. I know we have support a bit farther away at 5990, which means maybe another $5 sell-off right here. I'm kind of looking for the first real support coming at that level. So I see a little bit of distance down there. Once again, just eyeing up the support levels, following the flow on the Mag 7. And I'm thinking the risk reward is kind of worth it. And what I could do is just honestly, I could take no risk and just set a break even. That might be a smart play. I tend to want it to go a little bit more in my favor before I set my stop loss or break even and basically have a free lotto play. Basically, I'll look for the snap of maybe like 65. And we're going to see. We're going to ride this. We're going to ride this bad mamma jamma out. We're going to ride this bad mamma. Came out, retested me. Like I said, I'm looking for the snap of 68, 65 if that happens. Where should my stop be right now? 12. I'm in at 91. I could use 15, 18, 11, 311, 315, 318. Those are all reasonable safety. The reason I'm not putting in the stop right now is because I notice we're right around a key $100 level, and it just for whatever reason seems as if markets like to retest these levels. So I'm short a little bit below it, but it wouldn't be the most wild thing. It wouldn't be the first time I saw it is if we retest this and then we have another little flush to the downside. So I'm not like I said, since it's a funky day, and because of that, I'm going to be a little bit more, I guess, trigger happy with getting out if I need to get out. So that's, I guess, my current reasoning, my current thought process. Honestly, we might be seeing a retest of VWAP right now. The volume weighted average price is 21,245. So maybe they're looking for a retest of that. Maybe that's where we're going to have sellers target and buyers step in. Could be reasonable. So I'm kind of watching this level. I like this. I don't have to take on that much risk. We know in these types of environments, there are very quick pukes. And if we puke all the way down to here, that I'd be more than happy with my profit on the day, and I'd take it and move on with my life. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Let me update this. I just got to keep, the key thing for me right now is to keep monitoring the options flow to make sure that price is going with options flow, because I don't want to get caught up in a reversal by any means, because these Vanna rally reversals can be pretty unforgiving. So I do like the current flow. I know price just popped a little bit, but I do believe that the flow is still favoring me because I see NVIDIA getting smacked right there. So if NVIDIA keeps going down, maybe it's bouncing off of this. We'll mark out this intraday low. We'll mark out a potential recovery. So I see a little bit of a 1 minute pop in the SPY and the Qs, but I would bring your attention to the fact that these big tech players are looking a little bit weak. Oops, are we at my risk anyway though? Are we bouncing up? All right, let's mark this out. Ooh, do I want to cut here? Do I want to flip it, or do I want to give it a shot? Seems like this is a little slow to update for me. Oh, see this? See right where it popped? We have some calls. We do have some buyers stepping in right here. This is not what I wanted to see based on my current position. Without a position, that's what I was kind of excited to see. But hey, I'm going to give it one quick second to see if this call buyer is serious. But right here, you see how the green popped? That means Mag 7 calls for this Friday were purchased, adding positive delta. So if there's follow through on it, I'll just flip long. No worries. I'll take my loss on the short and I'll flip long, no problem. But I'm going to make sure, like, it's, when I say real, of course it's real, but I want to see if it prompts any legitimate follow through. So if I see that delta continuing to pop to the upside, I might not only cut, but I might punt it long. But we're going to be watching this. And then also here, you see how some 0DTE SPX stuff started to come in. Puts were also closed out, but it seems to already be being faded. Yeah, it looks like the market, whoever this player was not strong enough to convince other players, because we just quickly dropped all the way back down. But this might just be an opportunity for your boy to get out, break even, because maybe there is some strength. I'm just continually monitoring the options market here to see if there's neutral movement, strength, weakness. See right here how the longer dated calls, it popped. It was almost a fake out and they're being faded. So it looks like the call holders are using this opportunity to actually get out. They're not using this as momentum to the upside. They started fading it, and they actually started fading it right back down to where we were, right back down. So that's kind of interesting. People, the calls for this Friday held constant, but longer dated calls, people use that pop to sell. A little bit of a interesting tactic there. A little bit of it. And then with respect to the S&P 500, the puts are flat, calls picking up a little bit more so the longer dated. Did we hit 900? Okay, I'm going to set an alert there because I do believe this is important support. I'm just seeing this from, what is that? That is 95. Yeah, we have support right here at 5990, some gamma support on SPX. So we puked, we popped, and now it's at that decision point. So we're going to see if Lady Luck favors me. I'm seeing NVIDIA right here. This makes me feel like I'm going to be on the right side of luck, if you will, because NVIDIA is getting hit pretty hard from 10:02 to 10:10, and it does not seem to be stopping. I mean, here's the 30-second chart. The delta on NVIDIA is just getting murdered. And with NVIDIA being such a key player of the Mag 7, of the NASDAQ, of the SPY, I do believe it's going to at least give me another retest of 514, maybe of like 597 on the SPY, something like that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not swinging for the fences on this. And like I said, if the options flow completely flips and all of a sudden the bearishness subsides and the bullishness comes in, yeah, I'll flip long. I'm just here to be riding with whatever the trend is. But speaking of that, I see NVIDIA catching a pop. Delta not moving the most, though. Price looked good there for a second, but I don't know if we see a little bit of a pop in options, a tiny pop in NVIDIA options. Puts are being closed out on the Qs right there, removing some of that negative delta. SPX, the calls were going up, but kind of flat right now. It just feels really indecisive, which kind of means I wish I didn't have a position, or I wish I had a position that at least my stop or break even, rather than saying, hey, I hope I'm on the right side of whatever the next move is going to be. I hope that I'm on the right side. SPX calls are being sold. Mag 7 calls still look very weak. Yeah, I see some puts are being closed out, but look at the calls. No one really wants the Mag 7 calls. Bit of a pop there after a clear bottom. I mean, NVIDIA, just a bum rush to this bottom at 1010. Super indecisive. We cracked. There's not enough of a rebound to get back up to the trend line, but not enough of bearish aggression to like push us down to like a key support level. So you have to wait. This is going to be a test of patience. I think whatever the next move is going to be a nice move that you can make money off of. I don't know which way it's going to be. Once again, I don't think you should be ever married to the bullish or bearish position. I think you should be married to following the flow of options and price. And if things are aligning for you, you take a shot, ideally with low risk. And if they start to turn on you, you get out. I don't think it's smart to be perpetually bullish or perpetually bearish as a trader. Obviously, as an investor, just invest in the overall market and come back in a couple decades. But it's always just continually checking this. Like I'm just always continually updating. And it does look like I'm back to my break even, which is nice. But I don't know if this 21,300 is going to continue to hold. I'm looking, like I said, early, right when I got into this trade at 10:04. I'm looking for this breakdown of 21,268. I was calling it 65, but on the snap of that, I'll be able to take all my risk off the table and just put in my stop at break even. And if I catch a runner, I catch a runner. And if I don't, I don't. But the point is just for me to minimize my risk as quickly as I possibly can. This little pop here from 10:07 to 10:08, this 1 minute pop was a little bit more than I wanted to bear. But remember, I was able to kind of hold through that and not get too freaked out, because of right here. I saw that the calls were just being sold anyway. So I just thought that there were better odds that pop get faded than anything else. And that's exactly what happened. I'm seeing this continuation to the downside in NVIDIA, which I do once again believe increases my odds, but just this range is picking up like crazy. I mean, we're seeing pops, drops, like, so it's a larger range day for sure. And the question here is, are we actually going to crack? Are we going to crack this 10:04, 10:05 low that we saw, this local low? This is what I'm looking right about. As soon as this line snaps, I think I'll be able to move my stop to break even. And my goal here is just to take my risk off the table. Right now, I'm slightly down. I'm basically break even. Like we're within spitting distance of me being break even. So it's all going to come down to, you know what we'll do? We'll set that up. We'll set that up. All right. Key bullish recovery, key bearish breakdown, currently marked out for both the SPY and the Qs. But most importantly is the fact that no one's touching calls, no one's touching puts on the Mag 7. There was some call selling on the SPY, but there was also put selling as well. So the net delta remained unimpacted. And then what's interesting right here is even though NVIDIA is going lower in price, the options are actually picking up for NVIDIA. That's interesting. Even though NVIDIA on an intraday basis is looking pretty weak right now, people have seemingly stopped selling their calls. So this might be an early sign of a potential bottom because all day just selling calls. But really ever since 10:10, that seems to have stopped. So we'll have to wait to see what the next grouping of traders decides to do. But just wanted to point that out, that we're not seeing as much bearish aggression in the call selling as we've seen for pretty much all morning. All right. Is this up? But it's still going down. So I marked out the intraday low on NVIDIA at 123.64. And is this going to be my moment to get paid? We'll find out. I'm just looking for this recent local low at 10:04, 10:05 to snap, so I can put in my stop at break even though my system is saying I need more range, which I probably do, but I just don't really feel like taking on much risk on a day like this. It doesn't seem like it's necessary to take on like a massive amount of risk today. All right. I'm kind of watching the volume weighted average price to see if that's where buyers step in, to see if that's what sellers are targeting. It might be a solid level. Come on, baby. Come to me. Come on. All right. We're right at that. Let's hope that's not a little liquidity sweep fake out. What are we doing? What are we doing, brother? What are we doing, brother? A little quick retest, a little quick kiss. A little quick kiss. Come on, stay below it. Stay below it. Stay below it. Stay below it. Uh-oh. We're coming right back up above it. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. I'm pretty zoomed in here for you guys to see it on the 1 minute. This is what it looks like. Basically, the lower highs and the lower lows are continuing. The SPY broke its support from 943. So watch the support at 596.90. The Qs broke their support at that 1004. So I'm kind of looking at 513.70. Once again, this 943 is like really what I'm watching. NVIDIA continues to get hit. The Mag 7, I'm not really seeing. If anything, people are buying puts now. Calls are pretty flat. S&P 500, people are selling calls and also buying puts. So both of them are getting negative delta added to the system. But a little bit of call selling right there on NVIDIA, pushing this down. All right. All right. I should have. Well, no, it didn't hit it quite yet. I was going to say I should have reacted, but it does look like buyers stepped in right above VWAP, like literally a point above. That's a common place for buyers to react and sellers to react. A lot of sellers coming from the north side like to target it. A lot of buyers like to have their sitting buy orders right at VWAP. And as you might expect, a quick reaction right off of it. But let's see. What alerts do I have going off? I have, as you can hear, various alerts going off. And what was it? NVIDIA made a new intraday low. That's not so bueno. SoFi is not doing too much. Qualcomm, Microsoft, Tesla's turning, Meta, Coin, Palantir. I just want to see the Qs react to 513.70. We're about 20 cents away. SPX, we are at that support right now, that first level of support at 5,990. There's also some support at 5,985. So if this region doesn't hold, if 5,985 doesn't hold, look for a retest of 5,960 on SPX. So we are coming up to support, and it is looking weak right now. But remember, it is a 5-point region, and it looks like, okay. All right, I'm up about 20 grand. I don't know if I want to get out right now, if I think there's going to be an additional flush. Okay, everyone quiet. I need to think. Is Lady Luck on my side today? Is Lady Luck on my side today? Let me do some quick math of what I want to do. All right. So this is going to be my max target,
Order
but
submitted.
I might have to manage it beforehand. My max target is on the screen at 21,215, basically playing just right before a potential bounce off of 21,200. So I like that, but then I might have to manage it earlier. I might have to, because I am watching this. It like puked below it, but quickly came up. Is it going to give it to me? If I need to close it, I'll close it. No big deal. I'm up a decent chunk right now. 20 accounts times 900. That's up about 18K. And they're obviously all above my head. I'm trading 20 accounts doing the exact same. Oops, I didn't like that pop. What are we doing here? Right back to that breakdown level that we had. I kind of want to go to a little bit of a bigger. I think that like the shorter time frame's freaking me out a little bit. All right, now we're in a bit of a wedge. So we have that breakdown, broke down, bounced off of VWAP, retwisted. VWAP didn't hold. We overshot it. A little bit of a fake out, recovered VWAP, right back up to that breakdown level. And now we have this little slight upward trend line. I want to see if this can hold, but we see where the market's reacting. Now it all just comes down to how much bullish aggression is there, how much bearish aggression is there. Obviously, at this point, it would be stupid for me to take any risks. So I'm going to put my stop in here. I am short by stop market. All right.
Order
So no
submitted.
matter what, I'm making money on the trade. This is my reach target. This is my protective stop. I will not be losing money on this trade. No way am I losing money. I'm either making a little bit of money or I'm making a lot of bit of money or somewhere in the middle. So I will not be losing it. As I alluded to with all of you with days like this, as soon as I could take all of my risk off the table, obviously that's what I'm going to be doing. And that's what I just did right there. I took all my risk off the table. No matter what, I'm making a little bit of change. But if things go well and if this breakdown actually does persist, basically if VWAP doesn't hold and I get another little additional puke, I'll make my max profit. All right, too many lines. Remove that. All right. Come on. I'm just trying to not be so pig-headed that if it does pop, that I don't get out when I should be getting out. I think that's one of my, for me personally, it's on environments like this that you almost wonder, is it time for you to actually freaking bail? Like, should I just take my money? Should I just take my money? What's it doing? I don't even know why I'm nervous, because I'm not going to lose money on this. It's just a question of how much money do I make? Is it going to come tag me out? Oh, this is the right thing.
Order filled.
Yep, there we go. Tagged out. All right, made the money.
Order canceled.
Ride it to the max profit target. Yeah, but I had to protect myself, and that's the main thing, folks. The profits come. It's more of the ability to like get out. Like, your job as a trader, in all reality, is exclusively to protect your downside because of things like this. Like, I would now be in the red, and mentally I find that puts me on tilt when I have a nice green trade and then somehow lose money on it. I would much rather lock in a quick little gain, because remember, there is no pattern day trading when it comes to futures. You could trade as much as you want. So for me, and like for any of you who've been trading for any amount of time, it's tough to do it, but your major job is honestly just to protect your downside. So that's what that was. And like, whatever. I mean, I locked in 2K. Granted, I could have made more, and I took a risk. I took a well-defined risk, and I thought it was going to maybe puke again, but no, it caught itself at VWAP, and that's going to happen. If you beat yourself up for that, of not optimizing the profit on every single trade, you're going to be very upset. You're going to be very upset because you're not going to catch the max profit on every trade. Your job as a trader is just protect your downside, protect your downside, protect your downside. And that's what I did. So of course, like from a human standpoint, you want more profit. Of course, I wish I got out at the bottom there and perfectly handled it, but you never know what's coming next. You don't know if buyers, like, aggression is going to step in on the bull side, on the bear side. And right now, look at this. If I didn't get out, I would have been down. It would have given me one chance to get out for break even, and now I would be down again. So like, that's what you do. That's 100% what you do. Why is your spread so wide? It is not wide. I don't know what you're talking about. The spread is literally like as tight as it could possibly be. It's like one tick away. I don't know what you're looking at, but when you're trading futures, it's like one of the most liquid markets in the world. It's not going to have wide spreads. All right, how does this look on the big screen? We bounced right off of 90. Surprise, surprise. Guess exactly where we called it. 90. That was a potential support. I literally laid it out to the point that I marked it out. And we had support at 5990. We had support at 5985. And guess what? Support was found. So I actually probably should have taken it. I was looking for a little bit more of an overshoot in the I suppose in the NASDAQ, because I saw that NVIDIA was getting hit. So I thought, oh, okay. Like, I really thought the Qs were going to come down to 513, but instead they came to 513.40. So like, it happens. But I am seeing a very nice recovery on the SPY, Look at that. And then what about for the Mag 7? Okay, interesting. So we are seeing a clear shift here. Is it enough though? Is it enough? NVIDIA is still getting beat up, but even that, look at NVIDIA just got a big pop at 1025. This right here might, 1023 might shape up to be the dip buy of the day, folks. The dip buy of the day. What are we looking at here? 607. All right, we're going to give it a second. So we have like clearly established a nice local high, a nice local low, kind of this potential fake out midday reversal. But if this can put in another higher low and bounce off of it, this might be the exact setup that I was talking about this morning, which is always nice to take advantage of when you have an idea of how you want to play something. And then I need to zoom out just for a second to see this. Just to see this. What in the world am I doing today? What in the world am I doing today? We're going for it.
Order filled.
Switching long. Switching long. All right. All right, let's just put in kind of an arbitrary profit target of 400 flat.
Order submitted.
I like to throw those in so I don't get overly greedy. But like last time, if we get a decent push up, if we get a push up to like 70, 80, I'll be once again putting in my stop at break even, and I'll just, the die's in the air. I'm taking no risk, and maybe my target's going to get hit. But why I'm willing to switch bullish is because of, it looks like we put in a higher low, but more importantly, look at that options flow. The options flow is starting to show some signs of life. The NVIDIA specifically does freak me out a little bit, but even there, if this is a bottom, that's a nice bottoming potential trade at 1040, at 1024. And if it's not, then that's why you protect your downside. But it's just, I don't know, reasonable risk reward. The SPY is already back up at its intraday high. The Qs are already past the intraday high. So I'm just liking that setup actually to the point of, what do I want to do? Okay. All right, we did that. I'm just looking at some key levels that I should be targeting. All right, what do we have? We're slinging some size right now. We're slinging some size. All right. All right, am I getting fills though? That's the more important question. Look at that bounce back in SPX. That's beautiful. Where's the next level? Maybe potentially a little bit of a hiccup at 6,020 for my scalp traders, but the real target today would be now 6,050. So potential like mid-tier profit target, like something that there might be a bit of a reaction, 6,020. But for those of you who have more of brass balls, I would say the upside target of the day is 6,050. Based on the current option structure, I would not be so aggressive to hold past that. Once again, targeting this huge level and just the fact that we have a little bit of a swap there. So little intermediate target for those of you who maybe have like work to go to or things to pay attention to, like, or you just maybe want to be a bit more conservative and not so aggressively bullish on a day like today. Totally understand. You could be looking at 6,020. Above that, I would hope that it turns into support. And my real upside profit target of the day would be 6,050. Pretty similar to how 5,990, 5,985 was my downside target ever since we overshot it. But shout out obviously to GexBot for crushing that. I'm seeing the options flow is bullish. Oh, look at that. We're even getting some bullish flow alerts. This is exactly the case I outlined to you early this morning. Exactly the case I outlined to you early this morning. All right, if you're in the Discord, I did update some of my swing plays, so I'm just taking a quick screenshot because it's easier than me typing it all in. And then, all right, hang on. If you're in the Discord, I'm trying to get it up as quickly as I can. And then. All right, new swing plays posted into the Discord, so that's up there. Hang on. Okay, this is going to be a crazy day here. how do I want to do this? Okay, we have that. Alrighty, let me double check this flow. It is picking up. It is picking up. Okay. What is today? Today's the 27th. Upside gap fills. Okay. Piper's in there as well. I personally did not trade Piper. I suppose I should. I could. All right. Let me double check one thing. I need to switch the screen. I guess, should I trade Piper today? Should I trade Piper today? Yes, no, maybe so. What the fuck? Today's the 27th, right? Why is my stuff so comically wrong? The data is just completely off. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh, it's so far away. The level I want to play, I don't even necessarily know if it's like worth it. Why does it do this to me? Why does the market always present me with impossible decisions? All right, I'm throwing in a order. We're going to see if it gets filled, but I don't know if it will today. We've already just moved so much. We've already moved so. Oh, I forgot. Oh, holy shit, folks! This one almost hit. I forgot about it. Hell yeah! I forgot. I forgot I switched long. Man, what an actually good move. Where I was like, okay, you know what? The short's not working. Break even. I locked in a little bit of a profit. Like basically break even. Holy crap! And then I saw it. Wow. Generally, I am not like, I generally will not throw in the towel and admit I'm wrong. I just have a huge issue of admitting I'm wrong, even talk to my wife about it. But that one worked out really, really well. Holy fuck. This might, like, not profit-wise, I've had better profit days, but in terms of good decision-making of you took a stab at the short position, it just didn't play out. And then setting your protectiveness and then flipping long and not being married to a particular bias. Like, this might have been the best series of decision making that I've. And look at that. Just locked in 30 grand. 30 fucking grand locked in. You guys saw the first trade, the break even, the reasoning, me going, like, it was all to you. All streamed right to your faces. That boom, bada bing, bada boom. I should probably just end it today because, like, from here on out, I'm not going to make it. Like, those are my only good decisions. Like, I think I'm out of good decisions for, like, potentially the remainder of the week. 2 good A+ decisions back to back. I've never done that before. Gold star of the day goes to me for finally doing what I should have done. Break even, flipping wrong. Wow. 30K locked in front of all of your faces. Not a bad day. Not a bad freaking day, you know? Nvidia's still looking a little bit suspect. Oh, I do believe, hang on. Let me switch to this. I did execute a trade of my own, small position relative to my account. I guess it's to do something, but here, I'm taking a screenshot right now, so I'll get that into the Discord as well. I'll get this into the Discord. Someone just asked me a spot gamma discount. Yeah, folks, spot gamma. If I'm using it, it's in the description of the video, and it's whatever deal. So if you want to see this options flow or the trace tools or anything like that, it is all in the description of the video. I think it's under the my tools thing, and I think it's 80. The current deal is 80% off for the first month. And I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of 80% off. So check that out. But I could also, like, if you're having a tough time finding it, tag Chaos. He's in chat. He can help you. You could reach out to me if you have questions, media@MatthewKohrs.com if you want to email me, or you could DM me on Discord. So here's my contact info. If you're just having a tough time getting connected to the Discord, I have questions. Once again, you could email me right here, media@MatthewKohrs.com, or you can DM me on Discord, MMK147, or you can DM me on Twitter/X @Matt_Kohrs. So you could DM me there. You can email me, like I said, media@MatthewKohrs.com, or you could DM me on Discord, MMK147. But for those of you who sign up for locals for that first free month, you're going to be brought to this page. To join the Discord, either click on this giant Discord button right here, click me to join Goonie Discord, or come to the second pin message. That's the link for the Discord. And then obviously when you're signing up, just make sure if you want the free month, I mean, I would assume everyone wants a free month. Why would you want to pay from the get-go? But don't forget to use that code Goonie. So like I said, Discord link right there, or click on this giant button. Or if you have issues, just email me, media@MatthewKohrs.com, or DM me on Discord, MMK147. Or you obviously also have Twitter as a way to reach out to me. My DMs are open @Matt_Kohrs. So I'm hoping between all that stuff that you can find some good opportunity. Meta is crushing. I hope it is, because your boy, speaking of the Discord, how is this going? I've been swinging these for a bit. I got in on January 22nd. My one-day return, I guess I'm up right now, and my unrealized return is a nice 57%. So if you agreed with this trade, like I said, ask the people in the Discord. I alerted them all to it. I've been in it. I even talked about it in my update videos, but I got in this, and you would now be paying for, like, what? 7 full years, 7.5 years of the Discord if you agreed with this one singular trade. So obviously just showing you in real time, but I talked about it in the daily update videos. We talked about it in the Discord. It was alerted in the Discord. So right here, if you agree with this one trade, you could be hanging out with me, trading with me for the next 6 to 7 years, 7.5 years, almost pushing 8 years, actually 8 years now. And it would have already paid for itself. So I think it's a useful service. Check it out. First month's free. I mean, it's just 5K and rocking. It's just growing and growing and growing. I am obviously very, very stoked that Meta's popping back already. I mean, Meta opened up at 626. And then I told you, I mean, this was a buy the dip. Like, I even tweeted it out before. Not only did I give you guys the explanation, but before the market opened, 851, this mini market crash seems like a classic case of the Wall Street bros not fully understanding what the nerds in the lab are cooking up. I'm a buyer here. I mean, it was such an obvious buy opportunity. I don't know why Meta was red. It didn't make sense that Meta was red. Like, this isn't even the same argument as like Microsoft or NVIDIA. If anything, Meta now fully more committing to AI will be able to see, oh, wow, we can build stuff up more efficiently. This is a net add for Meta. So, I mean, I'm not saying chase it now at the all-time high. Obviously, I'm happy the fact that I'm already up 62%, so I'm taking on less risk. But, I mean, hell, if you had the balls, if you had the cojones to buy this breakout at 948, good for you. Good for you, but we're definitely making some money on Meta. NVIDIA, one of these days, I think it will be a dip buy, but Meta's the only green thing I'm seeing really on my watch list right now. Netflix is a bit green. Even Apple. Actually, Apple's having a decent recovery. Apple got its like balls kicked in a while ago. And I guess now we're showing some strength. Look at that. Apple, upside gap fill, maybe a continuation up to 237. Qualcomm, even Qualcomm's fighting back. Microsoft is also fighting back, upside gap fill to 441. Tesla also getting the upside gap fill. Coin not doing too much. Palantir going for it's like this is the game of the upside gap fill. Everything is looking for the upside gap fill today. So if you chase puts to the downside, I understand you took a shot. But as laid out before the market open, during the market open, and really even the explanation of just the news from over the weekend in general, it was a little silly to be swinging puts. It's one thing to scalp trade. Maybe you scalped it on this sell-off, maybe on that sell-off. But for anything longer duration than a scalp trade to be in puts, like you're just fighting a Vanna squeeze. You are very much just fighting a Vanna squeeze. I made $10 on XSP with the limit sell with match trades. Tom Leaps, I'm happy you made some money. I'm sure many of you in here are making even more money and more and more and more. So congratulations to all of you. I hope that my input and my explanation and showing the options flow helped you guys out. But I also hope at a certain sense that you're just better traders than me and you're using this, but using even higher end tactics to make even more money. I mean, there's enough money in the old stock market to go around. It's not like just one of us makes money. Hey, if retail's making money on any given day, I am a fan. We are coming up to that first upside profit target. For those of you who maybe are shorter duration, like scalp traders, I'd be looking at 60-20. But my real profit of the day, I'd be watching 6,050. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, now we have big support at 6,000. Big support at 6,000. Big support at 5,990. Yeah, and then this 6050 would be that real target. 35, there might be a little bit of a hiccup, but if we're talking about where we could theoretically go today, if I was riding like zero DTs or short-term stuff, I wouldn't be so greedy to hold it past 6,050. There's just too high of odds of getting a rejection, and you might even want to scale out a little bit at 20, a little bit at 35, and then the final like at 50. That could be another tactic. Remember, you don't have to go all in or all out at once. You can definitely scale in and scale out. But that's what I'd be looking for. And then if you're more of a counter trend player, if we do get all the way up to 6,050, you could fade that. That's something that maybe you want to sell calls on the top side of it and like see if it gets pushed back down. That's like another play that could become reality if we get all the way up to there. So that's another thing, obviously, to look for. 5 minute, 10 minute bullish. 4 hour trying to recover, 30 minute trying to recover. Similar situation on the NASDAQ, 5 minute, 10 minute bullish, 30 minute trying to recover, 4 hour, a little bit farther away. But everyone's starting to realize that this news was such a dramatic overreaction. You will not believe what's been going on in ICT's private charter group for the past couple of weeks. New video, check it out here. ICT, if you follow ICT, please understand that you are following probably the dumbest fucking trader in all of FinTwit. I just want to like throw that out to everyone.
You know, the Chinese labs, they have more H100s than people think. You know,
and these are the highest powered NVIDIA chips that they were not supposed to have.
Yes. My understanding is that DeepSeek has about 50,000 H100s, which they can't talk about, obviously, because it is against the export controls that the United States has put in place. And I think it is true that, you know, I think they have more chips than other people expect, but also on a go-forward basis, they are going to be limited by the chip controls and the export controls that we have in place. You know, the Chinese labs, they have more H100s than
overreaction
in
NVIDIA.
people.
Such an overreaction. Quick reminder, today's show is partnered up with Public, where I do my trading. As I showed you on Meta, it's all done on Public. The reason I choose Public is because they're the only brokerage I know of, and I think that exists, that pays you a rebate to trade options. Doesn't matter if it's calls or puts, buying or selling. If you want to earn a rebate every single time you trade an option, Public is the brokerage that does it. Beyond that, no payment for order flow when you're trading stocks. They have crypto trading, they have bond, and they have a high yield account. They just rolled out retirement account stuff. Check it out. Public is the place to trade. Pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video. Free to download, free to sign up. I highly, highly, highly recommend you check it out. Start earning your options rebates today, because slowly but surely it adds up and adds up and adds up. Actually, let me see if I can track mine down of how much I've made off of their rebate already, which no matter if you're a profitable trader or not where you want to be with your options trading, how do I see my total rebate? Rewards. How do I see my total? I found it, view rewards history. I want to say it's around $5,000. Earn free stock. Where does it show me? It's showing my total for January, but not my like history account, my total history. How do I do that? Rebate tier 4. It looks something like this. And obviously you could enter, I think it's Kohrs. What is it? Kohrs. If you follow the link, it's either Kohrs or Kohrs. But if you follow that link, it could be applied. And if you want to upgrade the tier you're in, all you have to do is come to your reward center right here, rewards, and then the promo code, you could enter it and it'll put you into a higher tier. So I'm in tier 4, but if you want to stay in that, where are my total? Public premium, earn up to 10,000 for limited when you transfer assets. Where's my total? I don't know. It's somewhere in here. The last time I checked, the last time I found it, I was about $5,000 of rewards that I had already earned in rebates. So I was pretty stoked about it. Mic'd Up Baseball, Eagles, Eagles. Dude, Saquon Barkley. Is he even a human, dude? That guy, his ability. Honestly, if he decided to never, I don't know how many of you watched the Eagles game yesterday, but if Saquon Barkley said, you know what, I'm not a running back anymore, I think he legitimately could pull it off as an offensive lineman. Is he going to be a Hall of Fame offensive lineman? Probably not. But the fact that he could probably get a spot in the NFL as a lineman, just if he's like, you know what, I just want to do it, shows you his athletic ability. I mean, for those of you who were really watching last night, his blocking last night alone would leave your jaw on the floor. And he's a freaking running back, man. He's a running back. The guy is just so incredibly skillful. Obviously, I've been following him ever since my Penn State days. I was at Penn State when he was at Penn State. And even then, the guy was dominant. And he's just gotten better and better and better. And I think the biggest issue with Saquon's career is just, unfortunately, he was so good that he got drafted very high. I think he was the second overall pick, and he got drafted to the Giants. I mean, just imagine culturally how we would think of Saquon Barkley if he was drafted to a team that actually had an offensive line opposed to the Giants. I mean, I understand he's doing better because he has one of the best O-lines in the entire league, but he was the rookie of the year with the worst offensive line in the entire league back when he joined the Eagles. Like, I just can't imagine where his career would be at had he just been drafted to a better team. Like, imagine if from the get-go he was drafted to the Eagles. Imagine if he was drafted to anyone, even the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs. Like, that guy, even the Lions, man, that guy. I almost feel for him that he just wasn't drafted to a better team, and then he pissed away 5 or 6 years on the fucking Giants. Giants have to be losing it because they lost it when they gave him up. Yeah, I mean, they're losing it, but they would never be able to utilize them to the level that the Eagles are because they just don't have the line. They don't have the O-line to, like, protect him, to open up holes for him. Like, even if they kept him for another year or for the remainder of his career, he would never be as prolific as he is on the Eagles unless, like, the Giants would need a much better line. Like, literally, he just could not pull it off. In a weird way, same with Derrick Henry. What was he on? Was he on the Titans or the Texans first? Same thing with Derrick Henry. Phenomenal player, but he's better off on a team that can actually protect him. And now that he's on the Ravens with Lamar, he's just that much better. So, like, you're seeing these outliers of where they're so absolutely phenomenal, but they still have to have the right people around them for their inherent skill and talent and work to, like, really be showcased. He was on the Titans. I always knew it was the Titans or the Texans. I knew it was something that started with a T. And he was good there. He was good. But once again, he'll be able to now go down in the history books because he's on a better team with the Ravens. Not only is Lamar a freaking athlete, but he also just has a better opportunity. Better opportunity. Imagine if the Chiefs had Henry. I mean, the Chiefs are pretty stacked, and at one point they were even more stacked. I mean, we kind of forget the days where, I mean, the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill at one point, and then obviously he wanted more money, so he left to the Dolphins, and now that he's pissed on the Dolphins, he wants to go back on a team that wins, and you can't really have them both. So he left for money purposes, but imagine if Tyreek Hill had stayed on the Chiefs, how much, like, just more, I don't know, insulation their dynasty would currently have. It's crazy. Titans' sole purpose is to destroy the running back career. What is this? OpenAI killer DeepSeek is now allowing only mainland China users with a valid Chinese phone number to sign up. Oh. Well, where are we? How's NVIDIA? I don't think NVIDIA got the news on that one. I don't think NVIDIA got the news. That's crazy. Did that just come out? I'm looking this up. Breaking: DeepSeek has restricted registration to its services, only allowing users to have mainland China phone numbers to register. Whoa, something suspect's going on. This is another thing just spiking my opinion, or like spiking my confidence that this dip is to be bought. I'm going to just scream that from the high heavens. And who knows, this might end up being my Jim Cramer moment, and maybe I'm talking right when the market really sells off and gets worse. But once again, in the game of probabilities, I like the probability of buying the dip here. I think it's a more probable trade to be buying the dip rather than to be selling at this moment. Like right now in real time, if I had to buy or to sell, given a couple weeks, a couple months, I think we're going to look back at this as a buy the dip moment. Trade war 2.0. This isn't going to be a trade war because we already have comparable LLMs with that. We would do a lot more damage to China in a trade war than they would do to us. Like if it gets to the world of a 10% tariff, 25% tariff, whatever it is, Trump knows from an economic trade standpoint that he kind of holds all the cards. And yeah, we might take short-term hits, but I predict that it's only going to take a couple of months, maybe even we might find out by this week that China, Mexico, and Canada, maybe even the EU, are all going to bend the knee to Trump. Trump knows he's playing with all the cards. Like he really does. All right, we're dipping a little bit right here. The movement's slowing down. Options are slowing down. Mag 7's now flat. You have the S&P 500, big pop, flat, giving a little bit back. Remember, we do have a bit of a wall at 6,020. You can see it very clearly here. Actually, it moved down. That initial wall I called out to you was at 6,020, moved down to this 5-point region between 610 and 615 right there. But you also have support at 6,000. So you have huge support at 6,000. Hang on, is this a 0DT? Did a new 0DT player come into the market? It looks like it might be, or sorry, not a 0DT. I meant to say a put credit spread. No, it's not. Huh. Why? Interesting. Okay. Any hoozles. Yeah, I was just looking at this right here, and I thought it might have been either a put credit spread or a put debit spread, just because they were roughly the same size, but it actually doesn't appear to be that. So anyway, you have upside resistance between 610 and 615. So we'll just move this down to, we'll call it like 612.50. I'm just cutting it in half. So this is the upside resistance. Will it break? Will it hold? I have no idea. I'm just looking. If it does get above, then that opens up the door all the way up to 6035 followed by 6050. So I'd mark out those levels. They go accordingly like this. So it's an if-then statement. If the market breaks 612.50 and holds, then I target 6035. If that breaks and holds, then I'm targeting 6050. Probably wouldn't be holding it past 6050 today. With respect to support, you have massive, massive, massive support now at 6,000. And you also have big support at 5,990. So big support levels. This is the decision level, the breakout or the breakdown. Breakout 6035, breakout from there 6050. If this gets smacked, watch for support at 6,000. If that doesn't hold, watch 5,990. And then if things get really bad this afternoon, just so you know, there is additional support at 5,960. So those are the major levels. We're at the decision point right now, and that's how I'd be playing it for the remainder of the afternoon. Obviously, in real time, we happen to be testing this level. I would say that according to the flow, it's more likely that we break out or not, just because we have been trending to the upside. But don't forget, obviously, that trend can change on a moment's notice. Someone's calling out Meta. Where's Meta now? Where's Meta now? Meta's just ripping. Dude, I am making a pretty penny off of Meta. Honestly, Meta's the major thing hedging my portfolio, because I also had SPY calls and Q calls from Friday that just got absolutely obliterated. But look at this. My Meta calls keeping the party alive, up $6,700. I've been in this since January 22nd. It is just going and going and going. I got into it at 20 a pop, and now they're trading at 36. Not a bad return, a nice 78% return. That's nice. That's nice. Remember, you guys can get these things in real time. Your first month's free. Macros.locals.com. Sign up with that code Goonie, and that's how you get the first month. When you get into locals, either click on this giant Discord button above my head, or just come to the second pin message and go to the link. And full full month, no questions asked. If you want to cancel in the first month and never get charged anything, completely understandable. No questions asked. Or you could just take advantage of everything for a month. And if you like it, obviously you are more than welcome to stick around. But there's the Discord link. There's the Discord button. Just don't forget to use that code Goonie for your first month to be free when you're signing up as a supporter on Locals. And we are cruising on Meta. Okay, so here's what a bearish options flow looks like. You want to see what a bullish options flow looks like? An old bullish options flow? Look at that. Everyone started buying the dip at 10:04 and it just became Rip City. What was it specifically? Was it calls or puts? It was calls. Okay, so basically people bought puts. No one got out of their calls on Meta, which I'm a big fan of. And then someone stepped in at 9:55 and bought puts, and that person's now underwater and they haven't gotten out. So the farther this goes up, it increases the chances of it going farther, because this put player right here, this put buyer from 9:55 to 9:56, it was with some size right there. That player hasn't gotten out yet. So as soon as they do, they're gonna remove negative gamma, or negative delta, which is the same as adding positive delta, and that's just going to push things even higher. So that's an exciting setup, a very exciting setup on Meta. Very exciting, and I feel fortunate to be in it because it's pretty much the only thing hedging out my portfolio since SPY's down 1.6, Qs are down 2.6. Small cap's doing fine, and it's only down 0.4. Coins getting hit. Tesla trying to recover, only down 1% right now. Microsoft's down 3%. Everything's trying to get that upside gap fill. I would just be paying attention to this. Right here, we just got smacked at resistance. We're coming up to support. Like I'm telling you, this is big support right here. 6,000. I would not be chasing this down right now because just based off the size of this support, I mean, look at it. It's huge. This is the biggest gamma right now on the map. So yeah, it totally could break down, but once again, this is a game of probability. This is a game of odds. So when we're at this key level, based on the size of the key level and the direction that we're coming from, and the fact that there's other support even closer by, this isn't the time to be chasing to the downside. If anything, this is where you look for a bit of a recovery and try to go long. So once again, I'm never making promises on individual play, but this is the type of mindset you're going to want to have. So a series of trades, this is the net profitable time to be buying than it is to be selling. Like, once again, I can't make a promise on this one particular trade. All I can do is point out to you that this is a massive psychological level, a massive technical level, and also a massive options level. And based on how the market makers are going to hedge, we could kind of predict that this is going to act as support. So if it can take out, if it can bounce off of this and then take out the 6,012.50-ish level, give or take a little bit, like I said, I'm back to watching 6,035. Now, of course, if it does snap, you have additional support at 5,990, so I'd be watching that. If that somehow snaps, then you have support at 5,960, and if that snaps, we have a very big problem. I would look for the delta situation or the gamma situation to be negative in the sell-off to get like really fast, but that would be a low probability bet. Low probability. The high probability bet is that support is found somewhere between 6,000 and 5,990, somewhere in this 10-point region is currently the high odds bet. So I'd just be watching this. From a technical perspective, you could kind of fine tune your entry by maybe doing a little bit of a bull flag breakout, a bull channel breakout, lower highs, lower lows, look for that to change. You could watch that. That's like maybe, like I said, like a really fine-tuned way to get in. But the major thing is obviously just keep your sizing in control. I think myself included, one of the biggest issues for the world of retail trading is just simply overbetting. It is simply overbetting, and that's like the real problem. But my Nostradamus type of call out for the remainder of the day is we'll see. I'll throw out a wild call. We'll see if it's right or wrong. I think we bounce somewhere within this 10-point region, maybe as high as 6,000 because that's such a key level. Maybe it's a little fake out into it. From there, I think we recover back up to a test at 6,012.50. Then we break out the intraday high, and then we make our way up to 6,035. And if there's still bullishness there, then I think we go another 15 points up to 6,050. That's my future ball prediction for the remainder of today. Might happen, might not, but that's what I think the high odds situation is. So that's what I'll personally be looking for. But folks, that's what I have for you today. Obviously, show public a little bit of love. That is the place to be trading options, in my humble opinion. I think it's the best. So check it out. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Earn rebates every single time you trade an option contract. I'm telling you, it's the place to be. If you want to join up with the Goonie Trading Discord, it's all done via locals. If you have any issues, reach out to me and I will personally help you. That's what I have for today. Monday's already looking pretty crazy. Sunday night was definitely crazy. The remainder of the week is going to just get more and more amped up. So please be prepared for all of that craziness. That's what I have for you now. I appreciate all the good vibes. I love you all. Don't forget to check out the update video that will be coming out tonight, kind of recapping everything for today and what to specifically look forward to tomorrow. That's what I have for you now. Peace. Love you all. Have a good one. Bye.